Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Basic Blokes, where we contain the angriest gamer on the internet, Mr. PS2 Fatboy.
I'm not angry. What are you talking about?
I'm not angry. I just like
No,
to hate everything.
I don't actually hate things, mate. I don't even hate things.
I don't. Anyway, I've got a story for you. Recently, I went to PAX East, and I got
Mhm.
the pleasure of seeing Randy Pitchford do
That
the
cock
Borderlands
munch.
4. Yeah, the Borderlands 4 presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And the presentation was very interesting, but at the end there was a load of questions, and the first one was, so to set the preamble, basically someone asked Randy if he knew what the price of Borderlands 4 was going to be, and he said, I don't know the price. He said, but it's either going to be $60 or $80. So this then went off and went on the internet, and further discussion was had about it.
Mhm.
And someone basically said, the long and story of it was that he said, if you're a real fan, you will find a way to make it happen. And that is buying the game at $80. So, as an older gentleman, a working class gentleman, what is your thoughts on this? Do you think real fans should just find a way to pay $80 for games?
What is Randy smoking out there? What's Randy smoking? Is he smoking a big pile of crack or something? Because, like, seriously, like, if fans of the game, yes, I'm assuming people will probably pay $80 for it. Because, like in our previous discussions before, how we're saying how people are try to save money, and then they do the complete flip side of it. People will buy that game, even if it's $100. But I think Randy is talking out of his ass. I really don't I don't really understand why companies are so out of touch with just normal people. Like I work, and like when I want to buy a game, which I hardly do now because like I'm afraid that the game's going to either suck or it's going to be I really want to make proper decisions for games that I feel are going to get my replay value. So when you hear that, that just makes me not want to buy the game at all. That makes me basically say, stick this up your ass, Randy, because I feel like, I know that some of the times are changing and things are costing more money, but games have always been fucking expensive, and now they're becoming more fucking expensive. Like, honestly, if I had like $1,000 a week heroin problem, that'd be cheaper than buying fucking games right now. Seriously, like I'm over it. I'm over buying fucking games.
It's
I'm
funny.
gonna start. Yeah, I'm gonna start
You
stealing
mentioned
TVs.
like heroin and crack, because the quote that's been floating around is that
Yeah.
a junkie doesn't wake up in the morning and go, "Oh, I haven't got enough money for a hit." No, they go off and do everything they can to find
get
the money.
Yeah, so maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe that's what Randy's implying, that we go and start stealing TVs and hubcaps so we can supply our fucking gaming addiction. By the way, the increase of theft has increased by 200% in Australia, but Borderlands 4's sales has been astronomical.
Oh my god!
Well, everyone's still hubcaps and TVs and fucking Alexas and fucking and mobile phones to get fucking Borderlands. Randy is going to put people behind bars.
So, are we agreeing across the board $80 is too much for a game?
Yes, I've always said this. I don't understand why games are so fucking expensive. You catch more flies with honey. Like if your game was kind of meh and you thought, oh, well, it cost me $50, I still have fun with it. But when you're paying through the nose, like that's a big huge chunk of your fucking wages. Like, and especially when you buy like the extra pack. Yeah, I got the game, it's got the extra DLC, and it's got the digital artwork book, and then it's got like a narration thing, and I'm going to get like a little pack with it, comes every 6 months, and then you play the game, and then you download a 50 gig update, and then all this sort of other shit, and yada. You kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
I do agree with you. There's a few points I want to discuss in this, but I think we have seen over history that when devs focus more on giving stuff to the fans, give back. I think Witcher is the classic example that it's like they put a lot of emphasis on the game. It was all about the fans, and people bought it in droves. And it was a phenomenal game. Yeah. And I think I think if they would go, look, we know we really want our publishers want to put it to $80, but we're going to put it at $60 because we know there's a cost of living crisis on blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
People go, wow, that's a really cool move. They could win so much credit with people, so much fan love, and people would buy it across the board. Right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, if you give back to the community, they would, like you said about The Witcher, right? I'm not even a huge fan of The Witcher, but when you play that game, there is so much to fucking do in that game. It's beautiful, great art direction, beautiful style, and voice acting, and music. Just, it's a great looking game. You know, I need to go back into that game and play it. But when you give back to the community, and also know that the gaming community is very forgiving. If you do something right, they'll remember that forever. You know, they'll remember that. Hey, remember when so-and-so did that? They'll remember that shit. So if you give to the right people, they'll accept that. But yeah, like I said, okay, listen, look, it's going to cost you $80, but we're going to chuck in the season pass for free, or chuck in some DLC for free to soften the blow or whatever. If they give you something extra for it, I don't mind. But when it's just standalone, like basic game, like, well, if you buy it for $80, maybe give it to everybody to have early access for a week, but for everyone, not for everyone who's got like, well, I paid for the $267 version, so I can play it for 24 hours before everyone else. Like that shit, like that really irks me. But I don't know. I don't know I don't know what's in their bongs, but they're smoking some weird shit lately.
Yeah, I think they could have gone about this way different. Maybe there's still time or whatever, because as far as I know, at this point, we still don't know the price. But I think they should just do a base $60 version, and then have an $80 version. You get your season pass, you get whatever, more complete bundle.
Yeah.
And then you have your mad versions for all the people who want to spend that money. And you say, we have done this intentionally because we know life is hard at the moment for a lot of people, and we just want people to play our game. And I would go, okay, Randy Pitchford, you're not that much of an ass.
Yeah,
we would have to do this. Like, as a developer, right? By the way, I'm a developer as well. I understand that games get more expensive because there's more cost to them. There's more production cost. There's all the technology behind them, AI, mocap, yada yada yada. As a result of that, like the budget to increases.
Yeah.
So you've got to get that money back somehow. But at the same time, I just think the whole PR piece around this is redonkulous. And we're just at the gaming at the moment. I feel like it's us versus the gaming industry, and for such a long time now, it's like it's big corporate versus the gamer. And before, there was, I feel like, a much more of a unison of, it was just people who loved games making games, and now it's like people who love making money making games. And there's nothing to say that industry, like a business and industry, shouldn't make money, but I feel like they shouldn't be making that blindly clear that we want what's in your pocket over we want to give you a really good gaming experience. Because I just, like, even if it's a complete lie, I would respect the lie way more than them just having this narrative.
Well, you look at these. This is why the indie scene is doing so well. Look at that obscure 33, or it is, right? That turn-based game on Xbox, right? Everyone's saying that's going to be game of the year. It was made by 30 people. It's doing big business. People are so happy with that game. It's doing really, really well. People, word of mouth of that game has made it do really, really well, because people are saying it's such a great game. I've loved the story, the narrative, and all that sort of stuff. I think that's the thing that's missing now with a lot of, especially the AAA scene, is the narrative. Like, what do people want to play? What instead of thinking, oh well, if we do a reboot or a remaster or this will increase the sales. So stop looking at fucking graphs and look what the people want. That's what you need to do. Like, stop looking at graphs and we're seeing what trends and shit. Like, look what people want. They want their escapism, which is gaming. That's our escape. Like, to me and to you, right? You have a hard day at work. You want to unwind. You want to explore something and have that imagination of something something really good. Well, even if it's multiplayer or single player, I want to just unwind and relax and have a great experience. and not worry about, oh, well, I can't have that experience because it's going to cost me $80 because Randy's a fucking piece of shit. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's just, it's shit.
I think Claire, what's it called? Claire Obscure?
Yeah, I know it's on Game Pass, but it's also on PlayStation. People are buying it up, and it's on PC. It's doing really, really well.
Yeah,
And
so
people are absolutely loving that game.
So Claire Obscure sold 33 million copies. I will say that game is a bit of a fluke, an anomaly. I don't think we can objectively say that, like, if you do X, then you're going to do Y. Like, it was affordable. It was a persona-based, turn-based game in a very pretty, great music, something a bit different. And also, we've got zero expectation on what they've done before. They're a completely unknown, and as a result, it picked up a lot of interest. It was also on Game Pass, and I do understand the pressure of when you're an industry, like you're a gaming company, you're producing games to turn a profit every time. You don't want to go. You do want to play it safe to a certain degree.
Of course you do,
because otherwise the fans aren't going to like it. But it makes me wonder whether game studios should be just like, we're going to cap how much budget we're going to spend on it. We just want you to focus on, as you say, an amazing narrative, a really good story, a really good game mechanics or whatever. And this is, again, why indies do very well, because they have the flexibility to do something weird and wonderful.
Yeah, but not only that, they have a lot to risk, because they know if the game is a dud, they're not going to make anything out of it. But like with the bigger AAA titles, they say, oh, well, that game didn't do really well. Well, you know what we'll do? Soften up the blow. We'll make a sequel to Battlefield. Will boost our sales for next year. You know, they got money to work with, you know. And then when it gets too hard, we'll slash our team down to half on that studio, or we'll shut the studio down because the big wigs up there ain't going to risk their fucking necks. They just cut the creative people off. You know, the people who are actually trying to make something different. Where that's the problem. You got creativity here, people who are actually trying to make great games, and like you said before, people who just want to make money. So it's a hard nut to crack, and But like anyway, you said about Borderlands 4. Did it look good? Because I'm not a huge Borderlands fan.
Oh man! So I did a whole piece about Borderlands, but basically, I'm excited for what they're doing. They're very keen for it to be the best co-op experience. Like,
good.
The game is just more Borderlands, right? So you got 4 like heroes that you can, or I can't remember what they're called. Vault Hunt. You've got 4 Vault Hunters that you can choose from. Then there's a big narrative that like is throughout all of the Borderlands, and looks like I think they look like they're writing a better story this time. It's open world. It's seamless. There's you can level up your character. So the features I liked is that there's no loading zones. The maps are absolutely huge. I can drop in and drop out of like a friend's session. So if you're like level 100 and I'm level 1, it will sync us up so that we are playing together on an even kilter. So I don't need to worry about that.
That's really good.
The heroes did look fun. The worlds, if you're a long-term Borderlands fan, I think you're going to look at the worlds and go, this is just more Borderlands. It's got, it's the same thematics, the same style, etc. And they've improved on all the weapon system. Everything feels like an improvement, right? Which is good, but at the same time, I'm wondering if I'm just going to go, is it enough for me to go, oh yeah, this is absolutely brilliant. I'm so glad that they've done it. Or is it going to be a Call of Duty again and be like, I've seen this all before, and my love for it is going to be dwindled off. But hopefully, it's going to be the latter, and the end game would be really good, and there's going to be a lot of replayability, and that is a big thing for me, right? Is that whenever I finish Borderlands, like, what is that replayability?
What can I do next?
Exactly.
And I don't know why I never. So I don't know why I never got into Borderlands. I tried 1, and I just couldn't get into it. And then my son was obsessed with 2, and I played a bit of that, but it just felt like it was just a lot of doing the same thing over and over again. I never even touched 3.
So it's a looter shooter. I know it's essentially like Diablo, but in an FPS world, and that appeals to me a lot because there's two genres I really love.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to see. Borderlands 3 did very well. The writing on it wasn't particularly good. So I'm hoping that the next one is going to be really well received. But because it is something quite unique, it's a really good co-op shooter. It's an opportunity for people to get together with their mates. It's got that element of, if I buy it, all my mates are going to buy it, and like you get a lot of success off of that. And I hope, I've been saying for ages, we need more co-op stuff in the market.
I love
they've
co-op,
just launched Elden Ring and stuff. So I'm excited to see where it goes. And apparently it's in a very good position at the moment.
Yeah, well, I'll pick it up if it's not $80. If Randy picks it, or if
Anyway,
Randy buys it for me.
That's all for Borderlands 4 and Randy Bitchwood. We'll be back with more chatty bits soon. Until then, have a great week, everyone, and we'll speak to you all soon.
Bye for now.